Okay. A little play on words there, which one means. All right, mean. Okay, mean is equal to the average of the set of numbers. Okay, the formula for mean is equal to the sum of the numbers over the number of numbers. Okay, a lot of people use the sum of the data, okay, over the number of data. That's obviously an acceptable way to put it. But let's look at these numbers: 17, 30, 38, 38, and 42. Okay, let's say I have those numbers, and I want to find what the mean is. All right, well, the mean is simply adding those numbers up and divide it by the number of numbers. I've got 5 numbers there. Okay, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. That's why we're dividing it by 5. Okay. Basically there you've got 80, 118, 148, 165. So it's 165 over 5. Okay. Oh, what's the answer? 33. Sounds right. 33. Okay, if you divide 5 into 165, now obviously that's what we're talking about right there. That'd be 3, 15, 1, bring down to 5, be 33 times. Okay, so that's how you find the mean. Add up the numbers and then simply divide by the number of numbers that you have. Okay, the next one is median. Okay, probably the harder of the 4. People get confused. It's really not that hard. It's just for some reason people get confused on it. The median is the middle number. Okay, the middle number, but the numbers must be listed in least to greatest order. Okay, before you can figure out the median, the numbers must be listed in least to greatest order. Okay, now, if we take our same set of numbers, 17, 30, 38, 38, 42. When you have a small number of numbers like this, the easiest way to do it is just start marking out the numbers. Okay? There's your middle number. Okay? Works okay when you have a small amount of numbers. When you have a large number of numbers, then it gets a little more difficult. Okay? But for our purposes right now, 38 would be the median. All right, now the mode is the number that occurs the most. Okay, it's the number that occurs the most in our numbers. All right. So obviously on this one, We have 17, 30, 38, 38, 42. So obviously the mode is equal to 38. Now, let's say I had this. Let's say I had an alternate set of numbers that did this. Okay, let's say there was another 42 there, and so I have two numbers that occur the most. Okay, then the mode would be 38 and 42. Okay, there.
What about on number 11 if there's none that occur twice?
If there's none that, if they all occur one time, then there's no mode. Okay, you don't list all of them. Some applications will, like if you do a Google search for mode or have a mode calculator, okay, because they do exist. I mean, bottom line is if you'll go out there on Google and go mean calculator, it'll bring up a mean, median, range, and mode calculator that will basically you plug in the numbers and it gives you everything. Okay, but on those, a lot of time they will list the mode as all of the numbers if they're all listed once. Okay, we don't teach it that way. Okay, so the mode is the number that occurs more than once. Okay, but it occurs the most. Lainey?
Okay, so like on the median, it's the middle number.
Yep.
So say that there's like on here we have only 5 numbers.
Right.
Say there's like 6, 8, 10 numbers. What
Yeah.
is your?
Yeah. If we have, let's just look at that. Let me add some to these. Let's say we had 17, 30, 38, 38, 42, 44, 46, 50. Okay, let's say I had that. It's an even number, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Okay, you're still going to do the same thing. You're still going to take and mark out, and I'll cover the other way here in a second. Okay, now what you're left with is two numbers that are in the middle. Okay, and so at that point, we have to take and find the number that is halfway in between 38 and 42. Well, obviously that's 40, so 40 would be the median in this case. Now, the easy way to do it without marking out the numbers, if you'll take the number of numbers that you have, for example here, I had 8 numbers. If you'll divide that by 2, okay, if you'll divide that by 2, that's 4. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, it's the 4th and 5th number because that's even. So it's 4 and 5. If I have an odd number, let's say I had 9 numbers. If you divide 9 by 2, that's 4.5. Well, I can't have a 4.5 number. In other words, I can't go 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. Okay, you got to go to the 5th number. So therefore, if I have that, then it is, we round that up to the 5th number. Okay, just like a while ago we had 5 numbers. We had 5 numbers. You divide that by 2, that's 2.5. So we round that up to 3. If we go back up here, 1, 2, 3. It's the 3rd number. So that's how you can do it if there's a large number of numbers. Huh? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if they can pick you up or not. The 8 over 2. The reason I said 8 over 2 is because I had, let me do it a different color. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 numbers. So I had 8 numbers, so that's why I put 8 over 2. It's always over 2. You just simply take the number of numbers that you have and cut it in half. The way we do that is we divide by 2. Anytime you're trying to find halfway in between something, you just divide it by 2, and that cuts it in half. Okay? So, for example, let's say I had these numbers. I'll just make these up. 3, 5, 9, 13, 17, 22, 25, 29. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's going up to 35 and then 37. Okay. Well, in this I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 numbers. Okay. Well, if I want to know what the median is, then I just take 10 and divide by 2. And that's 5. So it's a whole number, so it's going to be the 5 and 6th number. So I've got, let me change colors. Didn't take it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's the two numbers. Okay, so I've got to figure out what's halfway in between those. Here's how you figure it out. Okay, if it's not readily, well, I can't see because this one's not, then you simply do this. Take 17 plus 22, divide it by 2. So that's going to be 39 divided by 2. Okay, 39 divided by 2 is 19 and a half. So the median for that set of numbers there would be 19 and a half. No. Not once you've done this. Once you've done this, it can be a decimal. The actual median itself can be a decimal. What we were figuring here, that's to figure out which number is the median. Okay? That tells us the 9 divided by 2 and the 5 divided by 2 tells us where the median is located. Okay? This one down here is the actual median. The 19.5 is not telling us where it's located, but that's the actual median. Okay? And that's why there's a difference between rounding up and rounding down, all that stuff. Because you're going to have medians eventually. For example, you may have 1.1, 2.2, 3.3, and a median may end up being 2.64. Okay, so it can be a median can be any real number that there is. Eventually, we'll get into negatives and positives, and you'll have a negative median. Okay, so that's what median is. That's what mode is. That's what mean is. The last one we need to talk about is range. Okay, range represents the difference between the largest and smallest number. Okay? So if we go back to our original set of numbers, if we go back to those 5 original numbers, 17, 30, 38, 38, and 42, then to find the range, we simply take 42 minus 17. 42 minus 17 is 25, so that's your range. Okay? All right, so those are the 4 things that we need to do. Okay, those are the 4 things we've got to find. All right, now, let's look at one that does have decimals in it for our last example. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm looking for one that also has an even number of numbers. They don't. None of them do. All right, let's look at number 15. Number 15 says 7.6, 7.6, 6.1, 6, and 14.3. Okay, obviously we don't know what this data represents. It really doesn't matter for us to find the mean, median, mode, and range. Okay, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to find the mean, but to find the mean, I'm going to put them in least to greatest order. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. You'll also notice that I went ahead and lined up the decimals because we've got to add them, and so they're decimal numbers, so I got to line up the decimals. Okay. I'm going to put a 0.0 right there just to make sure that I remember that's there. So that gives me 7, 13, 16, carry my 1, bring down my decimal. 7, 13, 20, 27, 31. It's 41.6. Okay, now I'm not done. This is where people make their mistakes on the mean. They just stop right here. Okay, well let's logically think about this. How in the world could the average of those numbers be 41 when the highest number I have is 14.3? You can't. Okay, so let's make sure that we don't make that careless mistake on our test. You'd be shocked at the number of folks that I get that would say, you know, that's the average of these numbers. Well, it's totally impossible to have a number as your average that is not in the range of numbers that you were given. Okay, so make sure you don't make that mistake. Just like, let's say, for example, you put the decimal in the wrong spot and you put 4.16. Well, there's no way for the average of those numbers to be 4.16, okay, because 4.16 doesn't fall in the range of 6 to 14.3, okay? So when you divide that out, we're going to divide it by 5, and what does that give us, Lainey? 8.32. Okay, everybody get that? I'm assuming that's right, okay? 8.32 then is the mean, all right? Now, so our mean is 8.32. Now the median, one of the reasons I put my numbers in order when I was adding them so I could do the median. So all I got to do is mark out the numbers, real simple with that small of amount of numbers. There's your median. Okay? So your median is going to be 7.6. Now we have the mode. What's the mode? 7.6. Okay, now what's the range? So you got to take 14.3 minus 6.0. What? Nope. 8.3. Okay, so there's your 4 statistics right there. All right, now obviously, you know, they're all fairly close to each other. Obviously, the range and the mean are you know, almost the same, and of course the median and mode is. And what you'll find is when you're dealing with a small amount of numbers like this, a lot of the times they are going to be bunched together as far as the values go. When you get into larger sets of numbers, then it becomes a little bit different. Okay? So that's how we figure range, mean, median, and mode. All right? All right, let's go to the board. Yeah, you can erase whatever on there. Yeah, let's see. Here, Lainey, slide in here. And you slide in there. Move that stool under the table. All right. All right, I want you to do this one. Look in your books. Okay, look in your books and look at right above 18. Right above number 18, I want you to write down that set of data, and I want you to find the mean, the median, the mode, and the range. Okay, quite a few numbers there. You've got 16 numbers there. Okay, right above 18 and 19, that data stream. It's like 23, 27, 12, 20, 11, 9, 5, 10, 16, 32, 14, 31, 13, 8, 37, 32. What?
Oh, well, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, do it vertically. Since you got to add them, do them vertically. Well, eventually they're going to have to be in order for you to find the median.
Did you put them in order already?
Huh? No, they're not. I did not put them in order. So the first thing you got to do is find the median, or the mean, which means you got to add them up and divide by the number of numbers that you have.